You sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the best soccer show live on a Sunday. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois. I almost tried to say your middle name. I don't think I know your middle name.
I don't think I want anyone but the government to know.
I don't think I know your social security number either. Do you even trust me?
What?
Do you even trust me?
I mean,
write this all down.
I'm not going to leave you alone with my wife, but
send me all of this information. Yeah, her middle name too. Just give it all to me. The portfolio, a dossier, if you will, on
my wife. We have a ongoing thing in my house. It's very similar to our. You have a radio show kind of thing.
Oh, I do have. Did you know I have a radio show? Did you know I have a radio show?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
It's an ongoing thing. I guarantee you, this is not a joke, but it feels like one because it's hurtful to me.
Okay. Where are we going?
She has never noticed when I've gotten a haircut.
Never noticed it?
Including yesterday when I cut 6 inches of hair off my head.
Wow, that's
Damn, dog.
And she knew I was going to the barber shop.
So wait, she knew you were going, you came back, and then she did not say, "Oh, that looks nice."
Can you imagine if my wife cut 6 inches off her hair and I didn't acknowledge it when she got home?
You would probably be in trouble for not noticing. Yeah,
I'm saying, right? It's not, and I just want to hear that I look good. I want to be like, oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you.
I want you to notice me,
bro. You look great. You look good. It's top notch, dude.
But I'm here to report from the wastelands for you. Mm-hmm. The barber shop is a hectic place.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that trip.
Well, the problem is maybe the barber shop I went to isn't doing it right.
Wait, hold on. Are you masked up while you get your haircut?
I was.
Oh, Mr. Barber.
Okay, so I walk in. So this is a barber shop I've been to a few times. I ain't gonna say names or nothing like that.
Well, no, hold on. First of all, establish for me what kind of barber shop we're talking about. Like a
neighborhood barber shop. Like I ain't going supercuts.
Okay. So old school. These guys
I'm talking. There's the lowriders and skateboard pictures on the wall.
Oh, okay.
Like it's
neighborhood, real neighborhood.
The guy across from me that was sweeping had a Modelo at the same time. Okay.
I know exactly what we're talking about now. Yeah, go ahead.
So I go in, and the sign on the door says mask must be worn to come inside. So I'm like,
probably California law, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I go in, got my mask on, doing it right, and everyone waiting has their mask on. Every person employed there not wearing one. And so I'm thinking, like, these dudes have been around people all day long, a cavalcade of people.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that.
I mean, I'm not saying like you cut hair like with your mouth breathing the same air necessarily.
I did have to remove like the band behind my ear when he cleaned me up around there, so I held it on my mouth like during that. I wouldn't let him infect me. But get this. So they sit me down with a dude. And this dude, I tell him what I want, and he's like,
by the way, I just want to acknowledge, I want to mention this for people. Like normally, what I know about my best friend Jared Dubois, a guy whose middle name I still have not learned. What I know is that in the normal times, in the before times, you had somebody, like you had a person, right?
There were times in my life where I had a person like on retainer, like where I spent like way too much money to do it. I've gone away from that since I now have to pay for 2 children's haircuts too. So I had to start getting more bargain haircuts. You're
not just busting out the Flowbee and just giving them the straight old.
My wife is doing that now. She refused to do mine anymore. Okay. So that's one of the reasons. So I go there though, and they sit me down with this dude, young kid, right? Told him what I wanted to do. And I'm talking about the length I want to take off the top. He's like, "Oh, so you do want me to just like put like a number 8 on the cutters and clippers?" And I'm like, no, I don't want you to do that. And he's like, "So you want like a scissor cut?" Like, yes, I want a scissor cut.
Yeah, you gotta get the scissor cut.
Get this. He cleans up the sides and does all that stuff. Then calls another dude over to do the scissor cut.
Well,
I got the rookie that wasn't approved for shears.
Okay, but Lee,
They sat me down with a dude that's clipper only.
But did sides and back get busted up, or is it all good?
I'm not happy with a little bit of the fades in a couple spots here, dude. I'm not gonna lie. But how are you not gonna tell a person when they come in you're getting the rookie? You want to get like $5 off or something like that?
COVID pandemic times. I don't know what to tell you. Do you want to talk to Eddie in Brooklyn? You want to do that right now?
Oh man, I've been talking some smack the last couple of weeks.
Okay, let's see what Eddie's got. Eddie in Brooklyn. Let me just. I got to pull him up on the air first.
I want to hear how the barbershops in New York are doing too.
Oh my God, Eddie in Brooklyn. What's up, man?
Hold up. Look, man, I was going to talk about something else. Now I know what Jerry wants to talk about. What do you want to talk about, bro?
I want to know. I was just telling about my barbershop experience in California, and I want to know how they're doing it in Brooklyn these days. Have you been into a shop during the pandemic?
Man, I got my first real haircut about 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to lie, probably the scariest moment of my life, and that includes all the times that I didn't pull out in time. So, like, still a little bit nervous, not going to lie.
Were they masked up for you?
No, you know what? The dude was, but his nose was hanging out, and then...
Man.
You know, like I got my beard and he had to trim it up. So, I had to take mine off a little bit.
Oh, man.
It was weird. Like, I take this very seriously for, I got an 18-month-old and then I have my who is like the perfect storm in terms of catching this, in terms of like pre-existing conditions and stuff. So I take this very seriously, but I was that Philly that scored? Crap.
Live updates.
Yeah, by the way, we're like MLS Madness.
But I feel Eddie though, man. Anytime you're not wrapped, it's dangerous.
Anytime you're not wrapped in any form, yeah, top or bottom.
That's your preference.
But no, either way, like I felt very uncomfortable getting my first haircut, and my sister-in-law has a wedding on Friday, so I have to go get another one probably on Wednesday or Thursday. So
Godspeed.
I'm still a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
So I mean, I know we're going to get to some soccer here, but I want to throw in mine because I've had 2 haircuts during the pandemic, both of them executed by my wife. The first one, it was simple, nothing crazy about it. It was fine. I prefer the fade be a little tighter, whatever. It was what it was. She did a good job. The second one, for whatever reason, didn't go as well. Not that it was bad. You can't really see it, but what I got now is like, because I didn't get the scissor cut, Jared, because she didn't bust out the scissors and give me the actual, finger length and all of that. I'm like extra floppy on one side, and it like throws the whole balance off.
You can't tell your wife how to use them fingers, dude.
No, that's usually my job.
Look, I'm not. The first couple of weeks of the pandemic, like it hit us in New York pretty bad by March, right? So, I was in the military. I learned how to cut hair very quickly. I cut my son's hair for like the first 2-3 months. By May, I stopped giving a bleep. And then by June, I just shaved my whole head off because I was just sick of it.
Yeah.
And then my hair is starting to grow back, and that's why I went back to the barber. But I mean, I'm totally with you on the home cut. Like there's only so much you can do.
There's so much you can do. And I haven't ventured out to see who's open yet. I'm not.
All right, Eddie, we got your take, man. I know you came in. I'm sure you're coming with some heat, man. What you got? Because I know your name got invoked in vain the last couple of weeks. So what you got, man?
Hold up, it did. I'm not gonna lie. I've been very busy with work, so I haven't been paying attention. I just wanted to call and see if you guys thought that Higuain was sexiest fat dude in the history of MLS, but. Again, I kind of want to know what the hell you guys are talking about.
I mean, look,
Keylor Navas came up at least once.
No, Navas came up, the whole best player in CONCACAF. We were just keeping going the same thing we've already been talking about. Let's not make it extra spicy. It doesn't need to be. I don't want to have that conversation again. But I like this question, Jared. This is right up your alley. Sexiest fat dude in MLS.
Man.
Does he go to the top of the charts now?
Is he okay? All right. I don't know that he's fat, but he got that soccer butt, and I think that gets confused with like Joey Franchino had that. I wouldn't call for Joey Franchino a fat man, but he had like that soccer trunk, like tree trunk legs, soccer butt.
Right.
But Higuain got a little bit of a tire. He got a little bit of a tire.
Does he? I've seen the. I mean, I understand that when he's on the field for whatever
I can't really think of many other big dudes like that in MLS right now. I mean, Blanco back in the day had that.
Blanco, he wasn't sexy. He was just he was.
That's what I'm saying. So definitely all time Higuain's sexier than that for sure.
Yeah.
But man, is there any other dudes rocking attire?
Was El Barril.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He was straight down. There's no curves to Cuauhtémoc Blanco, and there's not so. That's Higuain's thing too. Because again, I don't think the dude is chubby. I just think that his body doesn't have that. You know, he's not little waisted. He's got the big one, like he's got the butt, like you said.
I mean, there's big dudes, but I wouldn't call him like Joji's a big dude, but I ain't gonna call that dude like he got some fat on or something. But that's a big dude, man. Like,
Sure.
So, man, I'm not sure. Back in the day, MLS had a lot more of these dudes than we do now. We keep it kind of young and sexy these days.
That's a good point. I don't know that there's anybody bouncing.
Like, who's the oldest dude in MLS right now?
Oh, that's a good question. Who's the oldest player?
It was probably Zlatan before he left.
Is Beckerman the oldest player in MLS?
Yeah,
right
he
now?
ain't got no fat on him.
Nah,
he runs too many miles.
Even though the munchies kick in,
He eats a lot of kale.
He probably does eat a lot of kale. Balancing it out. Like,
Wando's up there.
Wando is up there in age.
Oh, you know what?
Jeff
Laurentius probably got the biggest.
He's
Is
the
that for sure the oldest?
I don't know if he's for sure. I just checked it. He's 37.
Yeah, but he keeps it pretty trim too, man.
Beckerman is 38.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Beckerman is
man.
old. He's an old dude. I mean, he's old.
I guess it's Higuain. I think it's a one-man race, maybe even. Like if people got something to say in the chat, man, I'm not sure if we're missing someone.
Well, I just mean, like, again, there's a difference between old and then whatever Gonzalo Higuain. I respect a dude that can play with male pattern baldness kicking in. That's always been an extra level of sauce because you are.
I'm impressed by any man with male pattern baldness that's still cocky.
Yeah,
because like you don't get to be cocky anymore when you got that going on.
Well,
you know,
this is the thing.
Male pattern baldness with, I mean, what we call them in Spanish, like they're like spare tires, those like the muffin top. That's basically Higuain.
Yeah.
Like it's male pattern baldness plus like the little chicharritos that he has on the side. Like
Higuain is both a handsome soccer player and would have been a handsome mechanic.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But you know, respect for Higuain too, because the male pattern baldness, no shave. Like Michael Bradley, he could be rocking that look, but he took the coward's way out and he bicks it, right?
Wait, hold on. Is that the coward's way out? Is that just a smart move? Is that
who's the dude that played with Stoichkov in Bulgaria, like '94? He had like a unicorn of hair right in the front, and everything around it was gone.
The Italians can do this well. I don't know that anybody else on the planet can do it as well as the Italian. And I know Gonzalo Higuain's not Italian, but he comes from Italy, so maybe he's just picking up on that. I watched Giorgio Chiellini play again some today.
Oh, he got that.
Giorgio Chiellini does not look like he belongs on a soccer field anymore, and yet he still goes out there.
I still find him handsome too. I'm not gonna lie.
You find Chiellini handsome? Okay.
I find him handsome.
All right. Anything else you got, Eddie?
I was just gonna say, there's not too much to differentiate Argentinians and Italians when you really go back and like.
It's true.
Between the two nations, and
that's why
the immigration part. Like there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, that's why Argentines speak with that Italian flow to their Spanish. It's kind of wild. All right, Eddie, appreciate the call.
For us in Central America, we just call them bougie.
Okay, now we know. We're picking up on the culture, Jared. The Argentines are bougie.
Thanks, Eddie, man. Always good with Eddie calls in, man. Love having me Eddie call.
There goes Eddie from Brooklyn. Eddie's old school, goes way back. And by the way, since we're talking, I'm pretty sure Eddie's got one in here. This is a reminder right now. If you love the show, if you want to help us out, go give us a rating and review. Mostly on Apple Podcast, iTunes, whatever, but also everywhere else. We got. I love this one. This is from Sooner Sounder, just like most recent one we got. Right, the actual reviews. Lots of ratings. We need some more actual reviews. Yeah. Jason with the facts, Jared with the jokes. Does that mean you have no facts and I have no jokes? Is that a binary situation?
I feel that's pretty accurate, actually.
You don't think I'm funny? You telling me no?
You don't think I'm smart?
Okay, let's move on. Before we get ourselves in trouble here, let's move on. We want to open this up tonight. Now, there's a bunch of MLS games going on. We may talk about what do you want to talk about, Jared? What's it called?
By the way, update from the Miami games. Shaden says Higuain just skied one over the bar on a PK.
Oof. That's not a good way to start it. All right. So speaking of MLS, just a tease later on the program.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to do something I'm calling the hot butt.
should we just leave it there and let people's imaginations run wild? Or?
I mean, you can. I think you got a drop that can help tease their imaginations a little bit.
Hey, sure.
Oh, geez, look at the butt on that. Yeah. He must work out.
All right. Does that tell us any more?
No, I'm going to say this. It may not be what you think, but it's accurately named.
Oh, okay. So hot butts are coming up on the program.
No, not S. The hot butt.
The hot butt. The singular hot butt.
The hot butt. Who's got the hot butt?
Who has the hot butt is coming up. This is like a camp game.
Hell of a tease. Hell of a tease.
This is experimental stuff when you're 14 and go to summer camp. That's what this sounds like.
It won't be like that.
Okay. I don't have any experiences. I'm just telling you what I know from popular culture. I'm just curious if that's the direction we're going in. Let's talk national team, though. Let's talk about the U.S. men's national team and the situation. So today, as we were getting ready for the program, Jared said something like, hey, what are we going to talk about today? And I went, oh, let's talk about our first choice 11 for the November international window. That's coming up. We're not going to get an October 1. U.S. Soccer says they can't pull anything off for that. So it's going to be November. And because of the travel restrictions and because they're already planning it, it looks like that's going to be in Europe. And I said, let's put together our best 11, our first 11, starting choice 11 for that game or pair of games in November. And Jared was like, that's boring because we're going to have the same team. That's what you said, right?
I think it's, there is a version of that. You said, I can't remember what it was, but I did say it would be boring just because you're going to have the same 11. But let's say we don't know what the travel restrictions are going to be in November. Let's say we know it's not coming here. We're all effed up here. So, but let's assume by November, Europe says, yeah, you can bring someone over from America. Like no one's going over there, but you all can bring someone with you. And then I want to have the conversation about if an domestic playing American could be on this 11, what's it look like in November? Because I think that's a more interesting conversation because I think 10 of the positions are locked. Okay, I really do.
Let's go through them. I just want to run through them and get your thoughts here. Okay, so obviously Zach Steffen is the number one goalkeeper, period, and he's in Europe. He's the guy.
Some people are saying Turner.
No, I understand that, but okay.
Is him getting cup games enough? Because he got one this week, right?
He got a cup game last week. The League Cup. They won in the League Cup.
Caribou.
They won 2-1. I mean,
Curacao, something like that.
It wasn't the Curacao Cup. That's a totally different cup. Okay, so you're going to argue Zach Steffen already?
I say Zach Steffen. I just want to represent people out there because there are some that are saying that Turner's the choice. Maybe not because he's the best keeper, but because at least he's getting starting minutes. I don't know. Well, you and I are saying Steffen.
Zach Steffen is the choice, especially if this is a heavily European-based lineup. All right, let's move out from the back. Serginho Dest is in that back line. Is he a left back or is he a right back?
Left back.
Why is he a left back, Jared?
You know why? Because Reggie Cannon's on the right.
No, but why is Reggie Cannon on the right and not Anthony Robinson on the left and Serginho Dest on the right?
Because I think Reggie Cannon, well, a couple reasons. Reggie Cannon has had multiple international appearances, experience, and has looked solid. I can't think of a single bad game he's had at right back. I'm not going to say he's a wonderkind and that he's changing the game, but he's the first right back that I've found to be consistently solid since Steve Cherundolo.
Okay, that's some big boots that you're putting.
You're saying Timmy Chandler was consistent?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Reggie Cannon's national team career isn't long enough for me to go, oh, he's consistent at anything.
Yeah, but at the same time, because I can't find any fault, I don't think I should create one where there isn't one there.
Okay. He's maybe not as dynamic as some people would like. I could see that argument.
I think I almost don't want him to be, though. I almost don't want it because you want Dest to do that. If you have both sides pushing, you're going to get doubly exposed. Okay. I don't mind a guy that's not as committed to going forward if you're going to bomb Dest down the left.
So I think it was last week. I put together this. I don't know if I talked about this on the show already. I put together a graphic. I put it on my Instagram a couple places. It was literally just the club names of all the club names of all the for all the players who would be in that my imagination first choice 11 for this European game, and I had Serginho Dest on the left, and I had Reggie Cannon on the right, and people were yelling at me that I was wrong, that he should be Dest on the right because he's a naturally right-footed player and he's a natural right back. And Anthony Robinson on the left because he's more dynamic.
Is Anthony Robinson even starting for Fulham?
Yeah, I think he's got a couple of starts under his belt at this point. Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I just think that this is what American fans do, and it bothers me to crap, dude. Like they see something shiny and they want to put it in a frame. Like, you got to evaluate things first. I get that Anthony Robinson is sexy, shiny, playing for Fulham, was almost at AC Milan. But how many times has he played in the national team? Like one or two camps he's been into.
Yeah.
Reggie Cannon, if you're playing a game where you want to see how your defense is going to run, and I think he's the better choice right now because he has played meaningful minutes for the national team and shown well. I don't think he's done anything to lose his spot. If anything, he's challenged himself and gone to Europe.
Okay. I again, I'm not necessarily arguing with you, but I just wanted to play devil's advocate based on the feedback I got. And
those people are dumb.
Wow, that's really harsh. Like, why would you? That's
Danger zone.
Okay. My gut was we have never really had a consistent, trustworthy left back. I mean, DeMarcus Beasley for a short period of time when he got pushed back into the back line.
Even that, though.
Yeah. Who else? Like, name one. So,
I mean,
for me,
Jonathan Bornstein
to have a guy like Dest who can play both sides, who's at a good level and is obviously going to be making a big move, and it looks like it's imminent that the man's going to Barcelona. That seemed to me like a no-brainer because Reggie Cannon is established and when he's been in the national team and Berhalter knows him, it made sense. But I do get people who say, well, Robinson is great on an overlap. He's great up the wing. He plays a good cross with that left foot. Dest is not naturally left-footed, even if he can do some things with it. So you might end up with a Dest cutting it on his right foot into the same space that Christian Pulisic is occupying.
That's fair.
As a right-footed player. And then obviously on the other side, if you throw in Serginho Dest on the right, you have a naturally right-footed player there, and now you've got sort of these inside-out situations in both.
And I have no problem with saying that ultimately it may be Anthony Robinson's position on the left. I just don't think that's now.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so that's the one area of debate I really think there is, although I'm not sure exactly where you're going to go with center back because John Brooks is a starter if the national team gets called up for a qualifier today, and he's in Europe. Who's next to him? Who are you starting? It's not Matt Miazga. He's not.
No, it's Aaron Long for me. I don't.
By the way, this is what I'm saying. Like, if it was the European only team, who's the guy playing?
Oh God, I don't. Jeez,
it's not.
I don't know if I can.
As a bench player.
It's Tim Ream playing two left-footed center backs. I think.
No, we're not doing that, right?
No. Cameron Carter-Vickers up. Like, who are you going to put in there?
Thinking about it, like my body wants to like curl up inside of it.
Yeah, but who's ready at a center back position in Europe right now?
That's what I'm saying. Do you give
It's
Chris
Tim Ream, dude?
Chris Richards a nod just because he's young and sexy?
No, you don't. The guy had like one substitute appearance for Bayern. You don't throw him in a starting lineup.
But your whole argument was that we would agree 100% on this 11 if it was European based only, and if we're already kind of like, well, we don't have a clear.
No, you're creating drama here. You know, Tim Ream is the choice there.
Well, then again, how do you play two left-footed center backs?
People play two right-footed all the time, and no one says anything.
I know, but I think that those two guys are so much more comfortable on the left than on the right that it bothers me that they would be playing together. All right,
that's artificial argument. I mean, that's what people talk about to make something talk about. Like I don't know.
So if it was a European-only based team, the midfield trio is Adams, McKinney, and Reyna. Any questions?
No, I'm on that train. No, I know I was slow to the Reyna as a starter, but if he's starting for Dortmund, he can start for the national team.
Okay, and then up top it's Pulisic, Sargent, and who's on the right?
Please. Oh, if it's European only, yes, it's Sargent.
Oh my God, what are you doing? This is what I'm saying. If it's European only, who's the front line?
Yeah, it's begrudgingly Pulisic and oh man, I had Morris in my lineup, and that's another thing I can't do because when I first gave you mine, it was that. So Sargent, Pulisic, and Boyd.
You have Tim Weah, but I would think
2 games back or something like that.
Well, true. Maybe his fitness isn't there, but he's still in Europe. He's still available. There are a couple of other players kind of floating about.
Tyler Boyd's starting for his team, and he's been starting for his team for the last year or two. So I would take Tyler Boyd.
Can I throw you a wrinkle, by the way? Because it wasn't that long ago on this program when everybody was giving you like a lot of crap about the fact that you were in love with Terrence Boyd for about 5 minutes because the man was scoring goals in a league that is admittedly crap, but you were like, we need strikers scoring goals. You know who's scoring goals, Jared? He's 30 years of age right now. Aaron Johansson.
I brought him up a week ago and you laughed at me.
I'm going to still laugh at you. No, I'm just kidding.
I like Aaron Johansson, but I don't know that I want him to be the guy that has to hold up the ball in the middle of the
I don't think he's a classic center forward that way.
I can see him more than Tyler Boyd potentially if you put him a little bit wider in the other game. But I think Aaron Johansson is a good forward in a 4-4-2 lineup, not a 4-3-3 lineup.
I wonder what he's playing right now up there.
I'm not sure. I'm not getting the Swedish league. Is it Hamburg? I'm not Hamburg. I mean
Hammarby? I don't actually know.
I think he's at Hammarby. I think he's in Sweden. I think it's at Hammarby, which is also Greg Berhalter's former club. So I'm sure he's getting tabs on him.
He is at Hammarby. He's actually only 29. I thought he was already 30. He turns 30 in November. He's worth
a call in. I don't know. I don't think he's starting, but he's worth a call up for sure. If he's scoring goals over there, and he has a nice pedigree. He's went to the World Cup,
Yeah.
So I think you bring him in, you take a look at it, but I think it's Sargent, Pulisic, and Boyd for me across the front.
Okay, so let's open
it. What about yourself? You didn't finish yours out up at the front.
I mean, I guess Boyd makes sense because he's starting for a top division team, right? Is that the first division or the second division in Turkey?
First division.
Okay. Yeah, that probably makes sense if he's healthy. There's really nobody. I mean, the other names that might come up are names that are in the youth ranks.
You talk about Yanez. I mean, I'm not sure who else you're talking about.
It's Sebastian Soto, Mike, and we have reason to talk about Sebastian Soto another way. That's a forward option, but he is at where is he in? He's in Holland right now. I mean, he's playing in the Netherlands right now on loan from Norwich, and he's not established. He's not a guy scoring a bunch of goals or anything that makes you like, oh, we got to get Sebastian Soto in the lineup, although that would be an interesting wrinkle because of some news that just came out on Sebastian Soto, which we'll get to later.
So we just ran through an 11 of European starters. If Europe opened up to Americans, how many of those positions do you substitute Americans in for?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's see if we match up. First one, center back, Aaron Long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% that Aaron Long's the best option all the time, but
was he one of those three though?
Yes, okay. He was one of those three. Yes, he would bump out whoever, Cameron Carter-Vickers or Chris Richards or Tim Ream, definitely Tim Ream.
Matt Miazga.
Yeah, Matt Miazga for sure. Yeah, he would bump that player out.
All right, the other spot is Tyler Boyd becomes Jordan Morris, right?
Tyler Boyd becomes Jordan Morris.
Okay, so you said 3.
That's the
and I'm wondering if we agree on the third one.
That's a terrible body switch movie. No, the third one is Josie Altidore up top. That's the third one.
Josie Altidore up top.
Josie Altidore is still the best striker option the U.S. men's national team has.
I'm not saying he's not the best striker option, but I'm saying Giassi Zardes has 8 goals in 11 games. 8 goals in your boy Josh Sargent has 6 goals in 40 Bundesliga games.
Yes, he's playing in the Bundesliga.
Okay, but Giassi Zardes is scoring. He has 8 goals in 11 games. He's the hottest striker the U.S. has right now.
I understand that. I do not think that Giassi Zardes' form translates to the U.S. men's national team.
Before Josie scored tonight, he had 1 goal this season.
I'm aware of that. He's been out injured. He's had some issues. I understand that. But if I need to,
so what you're saying basically, there's nothing Zardes could do that would make him put him into your lineup.
What's the context of this game? What game are we playing? Is this a friendly in November? The stakes are 0.
Yeah, but at the same time, okay, it's a friendly November, but I have a hard time lining up friendly startups. I always think about what's the best 11. That's what I'm always thinking.
Okay, well, so
what's the best 11?
Either way, for me, the best 11 involves Josie Altidore. And until somebody else proves themselves at a higher level than Josie Altidore.
But I get the feeling that you're saying Zardes can't prove himself better than Altidore because he's doing it right now.
No, I get that Josie Zardes is on a great run.
And I feel dirty saying this, right? I feel dirty saying this.
Why would you feel dirty about this?
I've said plenty of things about Zardes that are not like fond.
Would be nice, first of all.
And I watched him in LA, man. I saw him I saw Robbie Keane make him look good for 2 seasons and then look like trash for 2.
Well, okay, so they messed around with Josie in LA too. They put him all over the place. He was playing right back at one point, I think, in that team. Wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't he a fullback briefly in that?
I don't believe so.
I think that might be right. I think your memory is bad. I think I'm right.
You think you know the Galaxy better than me?
No, I think I know that specific story better than you do. I don't know.
Okay.
Regardless of what happened, he's in Columbus now. And I will say, of course, he's scoring goals. There's no denying that. I also think that it helps to have Lucas Elorriana.
But you're saying it's valueless.
I'm not saying it's values. He's in the team. He's not a starter. He's the backup to Josie Altidore.
He's getting 8 goals in 11 games with Columbus level service.
I got some support on this. I just want to say I got some support on the right back. He played a couple games at right back for the LA Galaxy. So
are you sure nothing of Los Dos or something like that?
No,
like the actual
Los Dos didn't even exist when he was there. What are you talking about?
He came from the development academy. Excuse me, not Los Dos. Development
He
academy.
didn't. He actually signed out of college, but he had been in the Galaxy Development Academy briefly before that.
Yes. He's from Bakersfield. So
I don't think they signed him as a homegrown. I think he had to be drafted, didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think he's homegrown.
Okay,
but
I do.
Yeah. But what I'm saying though is that Giazzi Zardes right now has 8 goals in 11 games with Columbus level service. Now Columbus is one of the better teams in MLS.
He's played against FCC for 4 of those games.
That's a good point.
Come on.
And then Nick Suberling that's an excellent point.
And Josie Altidore is playing against Montreal and this only has 1 goal.
Okay.
Montreal leaked 4 tonight.
Yeah, right.
One of them was Josie. That's what Josie's one of his 2 goals this season is against Montreal.
Wait, hold on. What if Montreal played the Red Bulls tonight?
I'm sorry. With the New York City FC played. I'm sorry, the other New York team. Sorry.
Who? Wait, what are you talking about?
New York City played FC Cincinnati last night.
That's the game you're talking about? Because Josie Altidore,
I know both New York teams won by 4. That's at 4 goals. That's all I remember.
Josie Altidore is playing right now against Columbus, and Toronto FC is beating Columbus 3-1. That if any team in the league has a right to claim best team coming into this weekend, it was Columbus, and Toronto with Josie Altidore scoring a goal is beating the best team in the league. So does that chip away at your
still
argument?
2 goals in this whole season, dude.
Yeah, okay, so
I'm saying that I don't think there's anything Giazzi Zardes can do that can change your mind to think that he can produce the national team.
Let's also think about the roles that these players are going to be filling with this national team, okay? You have Christian in this lineup, in this imaginary lineup. You have Christian Pulisic, you have Giovanni Reyna, you have Jordan Morris. These are all guys who can put the ball in the back of the net. These are all goal scorers first and foremost in terms of their job. I mean, Reyna might be more of a creative attacking midfielder, whatever you want to say. But Morris and Pulisic are in that team. They can be your chief goal scorers. I'm not saying you don't want a striker who puts the ball in the net too. Of course you do. But Josie Altidore's passing ability, his ability to hold the ball up, because Jossie's not better at holding the ball up than Josie Altidore.
Agreed.
That's what I want. Why don't I want that? I mean, I understand that Jossie's got a hotter hand.
It puts a lot of pressure on the other guys to score instead of your forward.
Yeah, but Pulisic's going to be the man anyway, and if he gets help
he's
from
also
Reyna,
the guy that every team's coming in game planning against.
fine. Now, this is why Reyna and Morris have to step up, and they have to deliver, and that's their job. And by the way, let's hope you get some runs from Weston McKennie, who, in the U.S. setup, I don't know exactly what his job is. At Juventus, he apparently is a douche shit. He's a douche shit midfielder, right?
he is a lockdown pressure every ball midfielder. I mean, it's like he sees an ice cream truck at the end of the block. Like he is running at that ball and at that defender. Yeah,
he's an attack dog. That's what
it's very Gattuso-like. And if you think about Pirlo, he probably likes himself some Gattuso. It very looks like that right now, like where he is just trying to stop and make ugly everything in the midfield.
Look, if Nick Suberling is going to make comments in our chat, he has to bring them to the air. I'm not going to let him just throw out shots here. Dick, you got to say what you want to say.
All right, look, I mean, none of this matters. This argument is moot until we see him on the field playing in the red, white, and blue. Right tonight, he'll probably pull him. Josie Altidore.
Okay,
he's probably going to pull Hammy tonight, getting on the bus after the match.
Let me ask you, Nick. Would you take right now? Would you take Josie Altidore over Jurgen Locadia?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying. I just want to make sure I know where the level is here.
Does Altidore have more goals than him at 2?
Yes.
That's kind of mean. You knew the
name a player. He has more goals.
It takes 4 Josie Altidores right now to equal Giazzi Zardes' goals. That's what I'm just saying right now.
That's true. But again, okay. So injury history and concerns about Josie's health that's definitely
okay. Fair. If you're taking 2 strikers, are you taking Altidore and Zardes? You taking Altidore and Sargent?
I'm taking Altidore, and if I want to win the game, I'm starting Josie, and I'm probably taking. Man, right now I'm probably taking Giazzi Zardes as my backup. But obviously if the stakes are a little bit lower, I take. You got
to remember too. Berhalter has a lot of history with Josie. I mean, with Giazzi.
Sure, I guess that matters on some level. Do you feel
remember how much people were talking about when he first started getting all the starts of the national team? Like, right. Oh, that's Berhalter's boy.
Do you feel like Jossie is? These guys have to get different names.
We got to start going by last name only.
Do you think that Zardes got too much slack from Berhalter because of their relationship?
I think he started him for more games than he should have because of that relationship. Yeah. But in all fairness, no one was pushing him out. Josie was hurt. Sargent wasn't ready. Who's pushing him out? Chris Wondolowski? Who else was threatening?
I mean, Aaron Johansson now? I don't know.
But not then when he was getting those starts.
No, you got a point. You've got a point. This is the one position on the field, and we can argue about whether Zach Steffen should be starting with no minutes at City, and is Serginho Dest a left back or a right back, and Reggie Cannon and Anthony Robinson, and we can argue Giovanni Reina being 17 and getting a start for the national team. We can argue about whether any of that stuff is. We can argue about those items, but this position is the one position where it's just kind of like chewing your teeth down. Chewing your fingernails down to the nubs because. I agree with you that Sargent isn't doing enough to make it impossible to keep him out or to keep him out of at least the team and definitely the starting lineup. So with a Josie Altidore who when he's at his best can be very good but is inconsistent, and a Giassi Zardes who is definitely benefiting from incredible service at the club level and therefore looks like a great scorer, but isn't necessarily the guy skill-wise that you want at the national team level.
Yeah, and I don't want people to spin in my words. Josie Altidore is the best striker we have right now. He is. He is the best, most complete striker that the U.S. has. But he's injury-prone, and he doesn't have a lot of confidence, it seems like, right now. So those are my reasons why I would consider Giassi Zardes as the number 2 option and Sargent as the number 3 until he does something.
Okay. I mean, I don't think any of what you're saying is unreasonable. I just don't know if it's as clear for me as it is for you. That's all.
Get better glasses.
Yeah, okay. If that's what I'm not wearing glasses right now. Huh?
You got LASIK?
No, that's contacts. Doing contacts.
All right, well, let's talk about, if we're going to talk about Sargent and talk about these guys, let's actually talk about the Yanks abroad.
Oh, you want to talk about how they did this weekend and what's going on with them? Yeah.
Yeah,
because a different week, right? The first week, like Love Fest, kind of changed up a little. It's not that it was none of it was bad, right? It was just not as good.
I don't think so. I mean, it started off with, first of all, your boy waking up at 6:30 in the morning.
There's like
Gio Reyna on Saturday.
Some sort of analogy here that I'm not going to. You just let it walk. You just let it fly by.
What?
That the first time was amazing, but the second time's not quite as good. You're just gonna let that one walk. Okay, fine.
Man, I was missing that. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's set up on a tee for me, man. I just missed it. It was like Higuain taking a penalty.
Oh, okay. So you got up at 6:30, and I saw you on Twitter saying
went to bed at 1. Got up at 6:30.
Okay, well now you're shortening your life on the back end, so I don't know if that's the right move to make.
Yeah, your boy passed out last night pretty early after a couple drinks, so I made it right.
So you got up. Obviously, Giovanni Reina did start for Dortmund.
Yeah, so the first thing I did before I got out of bed, I opened up Twitter to make sure he was starting. Once I saw he was starting, I committed to actually getting out of the bed.
Was it worth it in the end?
No.
I
mean, I enjoyed watching. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching that game. I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed watching the evolution of him. That Dortmund team is fun to watch. But that was an 8:30 good game, not a 6:30 in the morning good game. I could have watched that 8:30 and felt satisfied. 6:30, I was like, oh man, what am I going to do with the rest of my day?
For me, that's a 9:30 a.m. kickoff. So I was already kind of doing some stuff on a Sunday, like getting into whatever.
I'll say this about Gio's game this weekend. Not as tight, not as crisp as last weekend as I think he's capable of playing. I think he got caught with the ball on his feet a little bit more than he did last week. I don't think he was as quick to get it off. I think he got caught in possession a few times, a little bit sloppy. But he's 17. I think that's going to happen a bit.
Look, obviously, with the way that game played out, it wasn't like anybody for Dortmund really put a stamp on the game. I mean, they lost the game 2-0 and they shouldn't be losing that game. Like everybody recognized.
Yeah, but once Augsburg gets to that go ahead goal, it was going to be park the bus time.
Right, and then it's on a young team, and Marco Reus came into that game at some point to try to help unlock things, and it just didn't. It never clicked for them. I think there were a couple of missed opportunities from Dortmund in that game, but you can tell that they sort of. They lack that experience enough to be calm and stay within themselves and I think it was evident in the way that they kept trying to play through the middle. Like they can't constantly trying to play through the middle. Augsburg's got that clogged up. There's 4 guys there. They're taking the ball off their feet at the top of the 18-yard box every single time.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised how little service Holland had on that. Holland just didn't get the service that you expect with weapons like Sancho, Reina around. And I thought Jude Bellingham had a good game again in the midfield at 17 years old. So the age isn't the only thing that makes things sloppy, because he looked good and Gio didn't in that game. But I think Gio's going to get a number of starts and get it. But it remains to be said, are they going to find a way to get Marco Reus into this lineup? Now that he's becoming healthy again?
Well, there's a couple of questions around that. Number one, how long will he be healthy, right? That's always the thing with Marco Reus. And then two,
and does that threaten Reina? Is that his position to be threatened?
Well, that's the question, right? And you mentioned Bellingham, and he's definitely someone to watch. But
they're playing different things. There's 2 different positions. Bellingham's playing defensively.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that if you're Lucien Favre, are you sacrificing a Reina at 17 in an attacking position for a Royce instead of making other adjustments around the field? So maybe Bellingham's not the right one to point to, because you definitely have some other guys. Jadon Sancho's another guy.
You put Reina out on the wing and give Royce the middle. Maybe that's an option as well. I think if I remember correctly, when Reina first started coming in and getting substitute appearances last year, he played on the wing a number of times, similar to how Pulisic was used with that team.
Yeah, he could do a couple of different things. So again, not a great day for Dortmund. By the way, it's also worth mentioning that Bayern Munich lost on the day, so it was one of the weird ones in
Chris Richards feature in that game?
I don't believe so. That would make 0 sense considering the way that game played out. In fact, yeah, it looks like Lewandowski, Goretzka, Coman, and Musiala came in that game for Bayern Munich. So maybe. So it's Hoffenheim. That's not the worst team in the Bundesliga, but that's not a team that's going to roll over.
Often you see Munich and Dortmund both lose into teams like Hoffenheim and Augsburg.
But this is the thing that's happening, right? That the games and the schedule crunch that happened through the summer. Yeah. I know the Bundesliga got done a lot earlier than the Premier League and some other leagues. These coaches are making decisions. So, for example, if you don't,
but Munich didn't. Munich was playing all the way until like 3 weeks ago with the Champions League.
Well, that's true. That's exactly right. So you decide to but you decide to not start Robert Lewandowski, the best goal scorer on the planet right now. That's a decision you have to make if you're Hansi Flick. But in this game, and I'm not saying that's why they lost to Hoffenheim, but clearly it says something about where you are as Bayern Munich. Alphonso Davies did start in that game. There had been that moment. Lucas Hernandez, I think, started in the first week for the season for them. They're obviously.
By the way, if you guys are looking for something, are you watching Alphonso Davies and his Jordan Heitinga?
Yeah, something like that. I can't squeeze it in between my episodes.
You're not watching their vlogs
of Ted Lasso. I got to figure out where to get this.
Subscribe to it. They have a really. I enjoy their dynamic, the two of them. So if you're looking for a good soccer vlog to watch, check out that one. They talk about Vancouver a good amount in it as well. They're just cute together too.
Do they do Canadian accent stuff? Do they say a boot a lot? Do they say a?
I mean, you've heard of Alphonso Davies. He's still got his African accent, his Canadian accent. He's still heavy through there. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying, if you, what does it sound like when a Canadian?
I don't think I've heard him say any of those Canadian words like process yet.
That's a good one. Process. I have to remember.
I worked in Toronto for a while. I know.
You have to say it. You can't say Toronto. You have to say Toronto, right? No T in the second half. Didn't you know that?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I've only been there a couple times.
Is that like Louisville?
Yeah, you can't say Louisville or it's Louisville. It's not Louisville. It's Louisville. That's right.
Is there a special way of saying Toledo?
Yeah. How do you say Toledo?
You nailed it.
Just to. I do know that you spell Cincinnati with 2 T's on the back end of that.
Did I hear that someone did do that right?
Yeah, that's how you spell Cincinnati. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Cincinnati, Jared. That's how you correctly spell Cincinnati. Did that right here on the radio. I mean, on this podcast.
He's wrong. Don't listen to him.
It's the less attractive Sin City.
Second best Queen City. Ooh.
No. I'm muting my mic now.
Okay, he's gonna get mad at me for saying that. All right, elsewhere, Christian Pulisic not healthy yet. We can go buzzing right past him.
Yeah, at least a week, it's according to Lampard, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think you said this last week. It's good to be careful with him.
Yeah.
The more time that passes, the more American soccer fans get inside their heads, Jared. And that's when we get the, oh my God, he's never going to play again. Or, oh my God, he's injury prone. Or, oh my God, he's John O'Brien 2.0 or something, which is not, none of that stuff is.
And here's a good thing, though. Chelsea's not lighting it up. I mean, they got 6-0 win over Barnsley in the EFL, whatever that is.
That's
these
the
days.
League Cup. That's the Carabao Cup I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. But I mean, there's, I think, a loss and a draw in the season so far, a loss to Liverpool and a draw to West Brom. So Christian Pulisic's position so far not being threatened.
They were in serious danger of losing that game to West Brom. They had to pull that out with Tammy Abraham in added time in order just to get a point against West Brom. So, yeah, you're right that there's at least.
I think they're 1-1-1 because I think they won one game at the start of the season. Their first game of the season.
To get Pulisic back in the lineup as soon as he is healthy because, look, they scored 3 goals against West Brom, but you shouldn't. And defensively is really their problem. But they're going to need Christian Pulisic. That's absolutely true. And then we left Germany. Tyler Adams played in a draw for RB Leipzig, which is definitely a result that looks better considering what happened.
Is it wrong if I keep calling Red Bull Leipzig?
Yeah, technically it is wrong, but I get why you
still
do
it.
You're just gonna buzz right past. Who cares?
It's like the home hub. I'm going to call the home hub that for. I'm not going to call this Dignity Health, whatever it is.
Oh, that's okay. Dignity Health Sports Bank Park
Stub Depot.
Yeah, the what?
The Stub Depot.
Stub Depot. The home center. Is that what you said?
Sure. Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. So
it really doesn't matter. Honestly, for all the MLS fans out there, it doesn't matter what you call your home field. It's going to change. Don't get attached to it.
Yeah, I did not watch Leipzig.
Yankee Stadium's the only one that's not going to change.
And it's not even the same Yankee Stadium. It's like 3.0. Anyway, it's the whole thing. Tyler Adams, 90 minutes and a yellow card against Leverkusen in a draw for RB Leipzig. So
didn't get to see that, but I'm hoping that, and I'm assuming that they played him in midfield.
Yes, he did play in midfield. He did not play as a fullback, and he did not play in that center back position. They went with a back three, but he was in a holding.
I told you, new Tony Sana, play anywhere on the field.
It seems like we have a lot of those guys. I mean, you just described Weston McKennie as the attack dog or the press guy in the system for Andrea Pirlo. I mean, again, how much we already briefly talked about it, but how much are we buzzing over the fact he got a second consecutive start? And does that mean a lot? I mean, again,
it's a good way. And here's the thing: he's probably going to get a third. And I don't know if I was going to say that when he got subbed out, but with Rabiot getting a red card, it's likely that McKinney's going to get a third shot at this as well.
Do you think it's McKennie versus Arthur for playing time?
Yeah, I think so. Don't you feel like I thought Rabiot's played well actually until that card over the last couple of games?
But I also think that, and again, this is what we talked about with expectations and like where he should be versus where he will be. But we sort of recognize that if Weston McKennie doesn't start every week for Juventus, that's okay, right? That we can look ourselves in the mirrors and be okay with it. So what we want is a fairly consistent rotation. Again, if it's Rabiot that he steps in for, or it's Arthur, who's whatever, he's going back and forth with Arthur. As long as he gets fairly consistent, as long as he doesn't go 3 months.
I think like today, if he's starting, if they're goal behind like today, he comes out because that's the offensive moves to pull him out and bring an offensive player in, which Juventus has plenty of options to do so. Whether or not he keeps starting, I think you have one of Rabiot or McKennie. I don't think you can afford to have both when you have Archer's ready to go and able to play. So it'll be interesting to see how Pirlo does that. But here's the thing. He's got another opportunity to show what he can do next game, because I'm almost positive he's going to start with that red card to Rabiot. So I think he gets another chance to take a bite at the apple, and we'll see what he does.
Any of these kids, I mean, I don't know who else you want to introduce into the golden generation, but anybody else deserve a mention here as we move forward?
I think just real quick, the fact that Dest may be a Barcelona player soon.
Oh, well, we're in that holding pattern right now. It's going to get done.
Dude, what a flex, though, by Ajax. What a flex by Ajax to be like, oh, yeah, Barca, we've heard of you. How's your bank situation?
Yeah.
I mean, this dude's got more scrutiny than Trump's bank account, Trump's tax fraud, man.
This is not, they're not, Ajax and Barcelona have a history, right? There's a connection there. This is not
it's a tunnel.
It's a one-way street is what you're saying, from Ajax to Barcelona. But there's cultural stuff too that goes back with Cruyff and the influence of Dutch football on Barcelona and vice versa. So there's some, if these are like, they're not best friends, but they know each other, right? Like,
Yeah.
like they're in the same fraternity kind of situation. Okay. So when you're in the fraternity and it's the day after the party and everybody's super hungover and we're trying to get greasy food to recover from our evening out, from a foam party that we had the
And
night.
Barca's like, hey, spot me.
Yes, Barcelona's like, hey, can you spot me 20 for the chicken parm or whatever? And Ajax is like,
I know Barca's got a good job. I know they got a good job. They get paid well, but I also know they like to buy boats.
yes,
and
right.
And boats make your financing. You wonder if you could get your 20 back.
Is it the right move to look at that guy, that friend of yours, and by the way, make this whatever situation you want for your life, and say, what do you got in your bank account right now? Like, what? Tell me what you got coming in. When do you get paid next? What's your paycheck look like? What do you got out? How much do you owe? Are you allowed to do that? Is that appropriate behavior?
I think it's okay to say because it's a financial decision. So if you keep a business, it's business. But if you're Dest, do you want to go to Barcelona, which is going to be in the middle of a rebuild, a year away from losing Messi?
Yeah, but this is
or do you want to go to Bayern Munich
No.
and fight for a position?
This is the thing.
But on one of the elite teams.
I understand that Barcelona is like, Barcelona just went through a hell of a time and they're trying to recover. They're trying to put their life back together. Like I was going to say rehab. I'm not sure that's the right analogy, but I know all of that's true, but that's still like the sexiest club in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's still like the hottest.
Is that better than Sergio Roberto?
Possibly be with. I know Bayern Munich's the reigning champion, but come on.
Is he better than Roberto? Is he going to start over Roberto?
I have no idea. I can't say that.
I got torched by Alphonso Davies.
I know that Koeman likes him. That's what I know. That Koeman likes him, and it's an opportunity to. He's going to play more at Barca than he would at Bayern, right? I mean, Hard, Davies, Hernandez.
It's super sexy to say he's playing at Barca. I'm going to say that.
Don't you want to buy? I'm not saying you're going to do this, but don't you want to buy a Barcelona jersey with an American's name on the back and say
if I was going to buy one, yes, but I'm getting a Juventus jersey with McKennie's name on the back.
That's what I'm doing too. Actually,
that's still the number one out of Dortmund, Reina, Chelsea, Pulisic, and Des Barca. Yeah, I'm getting McKennie Juventus.
You know what? We need to put this to the people. We need your rankings for the golden generation players. What's the number one want on your Christmas list? Your list for the holidays.
Barca's kind of played out. They're everywhere, man. People that don't know much, they just get a Barca. They just get a Barca jersey.
Oh my God. Are you really saying?
Isn't that the soft play, the soft soccer fans jersey?
You're saying that you don't have to know shit to get a Barca jersey, and therefore, I know, but
you had to find the McKennie Juventus jersey. You have to find it.
I do think that the Barca shirt is the choice of a younger generation. I see lots of little kids running around with Barca shirt. Maybe because their parents are putting them in them. I don't know. But maybe because they just love Lionel Messi. It could be that.
My kids love Messi, man.
I think he can't really go wrong from a profile perspective. It's just a matter of is it the right situation? All right. So we've talked a lineup for the national team. We've talked about the Americans abroad. Let's shift to MLS. Let's do Jared. Jared Dubois has a brand new feature he would like to introduce.
Geez, look at the butt on that. Yeah. He must work out.
Okay, the hot butt. The hot butt is just a kind of like a pick your poison take on which coach is on the hot seat and about to get fired in MLS.
Is it appropriate to drop in the pick your poison while on top of the?
No, I think we've introduced. I don't want to sully the good name of the pick your poison.
Oh, well, okay. Well, if this goes well, then maybe this supersedes the pick your poison.
We're talking specifically about coaches like jobs.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a couple of descending names of this person or this person. You tell me who has the hotter butt. Like who's closer to potentially losing their job right now in MLS?
I think how you had to add. Okay, yes. Who has the hotter butt in MLS? Give me your choices here.
So right now, who's got the hotter butt? Thierry Henry at Montreal, or Guillermo Barros-Schelotto at LA.
Guillermo Barros-Schelotto at LA has a hotter butt.
It's because he's had 2 seasons.
It's because he's been there longer, and because the team has higher expectations, and because while he is a famous name in Major League Soccer and down in Argentina, he is not, by any stretch of the imagination, the man on the marquee the way that Thierry Henry is. That's why.
Let's be honest. I want to make it clear. that in terms of actual anatomy, Thierry Henry's butt is the hotter butt.
Okay, well, you don't have to clarify that. I think we're all very.
Well, I just want to make sure because I don't want Thierry Henry to hear this and get. It's a second language. I don't want him to think the wrong thing about what I'm saying about him.
Oh, that's an approach.
Do you know? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know. GBS has 2 of them, right? He's got a twin, so there's 2 of those compared to one of Henry's.
That's not his butt. That's his brother's butt.
Yeah, it's still 2 of
They're
them.
attached to
Pretty
each other,
identical.
aren't they?
Pretty
They're
identical.
Well, I was going to say, do you know how to say hot butt in French? Because that would be the move right now.
Oh,
I'll figure it out. I'll get back to you.
Derriere showed.
That's probably right. Jared Dubois, who's living up to his name and his lineage.
That's 2 years of high school and 2 years of college French, which I haven't spoken in 18 years.
Derriere show. Perfect.
All right, so who's got the hotter butt then? Guillermo Barros Schelotto or Ben Olsen?
That one is interesting. Just against all logic.
Which is hairier, which is hotter.
I don't want to think about anybody, Ben Olsen or anybody's hairy butt.
Ben Olsen is in danger of one of those Lucas things. Oh, no, not Lucas, Breakfast Club. When Emilio Estevez was talking about why he was in detention, that was Ben Olsen that he did that to.
Okay. Everybody's have to go back and watch the movie if you don't remember that moment. I was going to say, against all logic, Ben Olsen has not sounded like he's been, like it's never come out from the organization or there's never been rumor, but that's changing. Stephen Goff has been writing some articles about.
I saw that.
How hot his butt is. And I'm thinking Benny Olsen's butt is hotter than GBS's butt.
No one knows more about DC United. No one's better connected than Goff in Washington. You know, maybe our boy Paulo Mauer's got better connections inside. I'm not sure, but here's the thing. Goff's not going to write it if he's not sure. I mean,
exactly. It's 100% true.
And I'll say this: DC United sitting on 11 points on 14 games played. LA's 15 on 12, so they've got 2 less games played and have 4 more points. But Galaxy has invested way more in this team,
way more. And there are a lot of things
happening in the dual market where they're competing for attention.
There's a lot of things happening in DC that really aren't Ben's fault, but at some point after 10 years, that kind of runs out, and you got to go, hey, you know, this is what we got, and you're not doing better with it. And let's figure it out. I mean, and Benny just called his team out in Nashville. They called him a bunch of frauds. So things are slipping through the grip a little bit. You know, it's getting a little bit loose in DC right now.
All right, last one. Who's got the hotter butt, Ben Olsen or Matias Almeida?
I'm going to say Ben Olsen. I think Matias Almeida has he has a free pass. He's got one of those cards you show the cops to get out of a speeding ticket. Like he just cannot do anything wrong. I think they've invested too much in the idea that he's going to get them somewhere, and I don't think they can do better. Jared,
here's the problem. They've only invested in an idea. They haven't invested in the players for that idea.
I understand that. It's just the idea and not necessarily the roster necessary to win. But when
I can buy size 32 jeans, but I'm not going to fit in them. You know, that's where I'd like to be.
Wait, hold on. You're saying that you can buy size 32 jeans and you can recognize there's work to be done to fit in them, but you're not going to do the work necessary.
But if I'm not buying a gym membership, I'm never getting in them. You got to spend the money at some point to realize the ideal.
That's a good analogy. I still think it's Benny Olsen. I think Almeida. First of all, they don't want to pay another coach while they're paying Matias Almeida to go sit on his hot butt. They don't want to do that.
Wouldn't DC have to do the same thing?
Yes, but I think DC is more willing after 10 years with Ben Olsen in charge.
I guess, yeah, you amateurized over 10 years. Ben Olsen is paid for himself.
And I don't know what Almeida is making in San Jose. And I know he always says, I could
enough to upgrade from a VW bus.
I know he always says that they're making less in San Jose than he could have made somewhere else.
Think of all the money he's saving on salon appointments these days.
I still think, speaking of haircuts, that Benny Olsen costs less to DC than Matias Almeida does to San Jose. That's my gut. I have no idea, but that's my gut.
Allison's saying San Jose will never get better than Almeida.
This is what I'm saying. If you are in that relationship, and you may not be extremely happy, you may not be, and I'm not talking about now. Now in my 40s, I know happiness is the most important thing. It's not about you know all that stuff. It's not about the flashy
girth.
Sure, that too. I'm saying that you think twice before you say, okay, can I actually do better? And by the way, this could be like personality as much as it is looks. Can I do better than that person? You may not be able to. If that person puts up with your shit, you don't dump them thinking I can do better, and then you end up with somebody worse. That's
Just
not,
real quick. You don't have. Do you have the standings in front of you? Don't look if you do. Do you have them in front
no,
of
I
you?
do not. Do not. No.
What do you think San Jose's goal differential is right now?
San Jose's goal differential is
Nick, you don't have it in front of you, right? You're not looking at it?
I was about to, but I won't look.
I want to see which one of you gets closer.
let's see. I know they lost 7.
Don't say it out loud. You give Nick help.
He knows all the scores too.
I don't.
I'm gonna say it's negative. I'm gonna say it's negative 19.
Nick, what are you going to go with?
I will go. They gave up a 7 burger, what, a couple times? I'll say minus 24.
Jason's the winner at minus 21.
Oh.
21.
Beats
Dude,
by what?
the next closest team to that is negative 13. Like they've given up. This is like the Galaxy 3 years ago.
Don't you kind of respect it though? Don't you kind of respect that he does not care
Just go big or go home.
about defense? He does not care about defending. It's like, whatever. We're gonna still go do our wild stuff. It's like, I mean, it's.
And the crazy thing is their goals for isn't bad. It's 17.
Oh yeah, they can
And they're
score.
still negative 21.
Yeah, they give up a ton. It's nuts. It's
Oh
nuts.
God, it's so. Listen,
By the way,
I like him too, man.
Hotter butt in San Jose is Jesse Fioranelli. It should be. It should be on Jesse Fioranelli.
We all know that executives don't matter. No one loses their jobs at the executive level unless you say something stupid about someone's gender, race, sexual proclivity. That's the only reason you lose your job as an executive.
Well, or you could be pushed out because no one knows what the hell's going on with Dennis Hamlin. It's like he doesn't exist anymore. Kevin Thelwell took over at Red Bull and say, "See you, Dennis." I guess.
I have one more question for Nick on the hot butt before we leave it behind. Is Jaap Stam in any danger this season of losing his job? Does he even have a warm butt in Cincinnati?
No, he does not.
So basically, he's locked in for the season no matter what because he inherited this dumpster fire.
I could tell you that there's no way the club is going to let him go. He will be the one leaving on his own, if anything.
Do you think that there's any chance that before the year is over, Jaap Stam goes F this and walks? You do think there's a chance of that?
I mean, have you seen them play?
Who's more? Okay, here's the pick your poison for you then. Here's the pick your poison for you, Jason. You ready? More likely to walk off the job this year.
Oh, this is a good one.
Thierry Henry or Jaap Stam? You see Henry on the sidelines, right? Like, can he keep doing that? Like, that's how much he feels.
I think it's Stam. I think it is. I think Henry needs it more. I think he needs to succeed in Montreal more than Stam needs to succeed in Cincinnati. I also think that the cultural stuff that happens in the cultural connections he has to Montreal, just to being a francophone and all of that. I think that's
it's kind of sucked not being able to leave Canada though.
Yeah.
Like he didn't sign up to be stuck in Canada this whole time. He thought he was going to get to New York twice.
They're not in Canada now. They're playing in New York all the time now.
Yeah,
They're playing with Jersey. He playing his old stomping grounds now. That's his home stadium now.
Yeah.
Until the end of the season, which is, but we haven't spent any time talking about the fact that the Canadian teams got screwed, that absolutely royally screwed by all of this. And
it's rough.
Like everything's normal. Oh, it's a normal year. Yeah, we're just gonna MLS Cup champion in December. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I mean, give Toronto credit, by the way, for dealing with leaving Canada, being stuck in the U.S. for the remainder of the regular season and stomping the best team in MLS.
And Vancouver's still in front of LA by a point.
Yeah. We'll see how this all plays out. All right.
We got some hot butts. That's what we learned. The hottest butt is also the hairiest, and that's DC United. Ben Olsen.
I still want people to give us their power rankings on jersey purchases for the golden generation in Europe right now. I want to know where you guys fall. I'm going to guess that for sponsorship reasons, for corporate reasons, that Tyler's at the bottom of most people's lists, which is unfortunate.
Oh, you have to go deep then. Like we're showing a take from the chat room right now from Jack Renwick, and he gave a top 3. How far down do you have to have Boyd on your list?
Boyd's not golden generation, but even if you do get him in there, he's not. He's not.
Oh, you said Tyler Adams. I'm sorry, you said Tyler
Adams. Other Tyler.
Okay, so Jack's saying though, Dest number 1 Barca. If it's Barca, Ajax, I don't think he's at number 1.
No.
McKennie number 2, Juve.
Ajax
Reina third, Dortmund.
Yeah,
is that your order too?
It's definitely for me. It's McKennie Juve. I'm with you on that. It's McKennie Juve number 1. I would go Dest Barcelona number 2. I would go. So do I get to count Chris Richards or do I have to wait?
I think you have to wait, man.
Okay.
If you can't even buy his jersey in the Bayern store.
Yeah, Pulisic is probably 3 on that list. I'm not a huge Chelsea guy.
Ooh,
but
man, Reyna's below Pulisic for you?
did I say that? Well, Pulisic's a bigger deal at his club than Reyna.
Chelsea fans are insufferable, though.
This is also
you don't want people thinking you're a Chelsea fan.
Man, they are insufferable. Damn Chelsea people.
Same game before we get out of here between Alex Morgan, Tottenham.
Ooh.
Tobin Heath, Kristen Press, Man United. Sam Mewis, Rose Lavelle, Manchester City. What's your ones you're going to buy? And I know Nick's probably got a feeling on this one too because Nick's got the Sophie's Choice here, by the way.
Devil's three-way. I don't want anything to do with that.
Okay, but here's the thing: sometimes you have to do a Devil's three-way. Okay, so
I don't want it.
Nick's got the Sophie's Choice here. Manchester United is his team.
Yes, I know.
But Rose Lavelle is his hometown girl.
That's
so
right.
Nick, what are you going with, dude? If you got to put one jersey on your back, what are you putting on your back?
I'm wearing a Kristen Press jersey all day long.
So if Roosevelt was at any team other than Man City, would you buy it and wear it?
I would still wear a Kristen Press jersey.
If she was at Liverpool, he's not wearing a Liverpool. He's not wearing a Liverpool Rose Lavelle. Not doing that.
No, I mean, I'm not wearing it. There's no way if Rose Lavelle showed up and was playing for Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Nope, not going to happen.
It's Kristen Press, Manchester United for you then.
Yeah,
Man, if you're making me choose one of those, that's really hard. I think I'm probably going Mewis Man City, and only because
Man City, your jerseys are ugly though.
No, actually, I like the Paisley one. You don't like the Paisley one?
Oh, I don't think I've seen the Paisley one.
It's pretty nice, actually. I mean, it's weird because it's Paisley, but it's interesting.
Okay, so you're going Mewis number 1?
Yeah, I can't go Alex Morgan Spurs. I can't do it.
Man,
I don't know.
That's such an odd one too, because she was a Manchester United fan. That's why I was surprised that she's wearing a Spurs jersey.
I heard some.
Whoever comes through the money, dude.
I heard some quotes from her. That whole thing came. She said that whole thing came together in 48 hours.
Yeah, I watched that interview as well. It's like out of nowhere that thing happened. So that's an amazing get by Tottenham, if so, man. And I don't know if she played her. I know Mewis played her first game, got a goal, 2 assists. I haven't seen if the Manchester United duo has gotten theirs yet. For the record, I would go Tobin Heath, Manchester United.
Tobin Heath has the most sauce out of all of those players.
That's what I'm saying, baby. You got to get the sauce. Dude, does England make any good sauce?
Like you were talking about actual sauce or
actual sauce. Like Heath may be the best sauce in England. I don't think they make any good sauce.
They do. They put stuff. They like when you go and get fries or chips. That's what I understand. One of your options is brown sauce. I don't even know what that is.
Heck, I make that in the bathroom.
I think it's just gravy. I think it's just like brown gravy.
So's mine.
Like the kind you put in the packet with the water and you just stir it up on the stove.
Oh man, England don't do nothing right when it comes to food, man. How you mess up food so bad?
I started I think I'm actually behind, but I'm watching a Great British Baking Show again, which I love. Have you seen Great British Baking?
Even that stuff, man. That fondant stuff's weird. I don't know.
Fondant does. It kind of like on the line between really look very tasty, but also like repulsive.
Play-Doh.
It kind of looks like Play-Doh, yeah.
It kind of tastes like it don't taste good.
We got to get out of here. We are going to go do our bonus show. We're going to talk to Lasso this week, and I think we're going to play a game with Nikki Soup and Sausage.
Oh, Nikki's found, was it 3 VHS tapes, Nick? Is that what you found?
I think it's 8.
So
8 VHS tapes in Nick's house he came across.
I love that.
We're going to try to figure out what they are.
Dead technology just laying around his house.
Nick's got CDs and VHSs for days.
My favorite thing.
Nick found a Walkman the other day with a Top Gun soundtrack cassette in it.
Highway, just bouncing around the house.
By the way, Berlin is the sleeper on that soundtrack. And everyone always goes to Kenny Loggins. There's Berlin tracks on that.
Yeah. We are going to do that. If you want to listen to the bonus show ever and all of them, go to patreon.com/JD and the Rod and listen to that. If you don't, you also get access to our Slack. It's all out there, patreon.com to help us out. What else? Again, ratings and reviews. I mentioned that
reviews help. Yeah, give us a follow on Twitter, Besties Soccer, and also on Instagram at The Best Soccer Show. Definitely get in touch with us in those medium. And then also, don't forget about that midweek show.
Oh, yeah, the midweek show. The new format is called From the Stands. It's me. We get a taste of Jared. Just a little taste. Like, not Not the
Sometimes
full
that's the
piece.
best way to ingest me.
It's sort of like a couple pieces of sushi, not enough to fill you up.
There's some people that tolerate me to hear you on this show, and I'm fully aware of that. So the midweek show's made for you.
It's also the other way around occasionally, but it's a little bit of Jared and then a lot of deeper dive into some other American soccer thing. We just did a show on Giovanni Reina. I talked to why am I blanking on his name?
Stefan.
Yes, Stefan Bushko from the Yellow Wall podcast. He was on the show. I had fun talking to him. Next week, or this week, I guess, at this point, I believe we're going to talk Christian Pulisic with the guys from Chelsea Mic'd Up. So look for that. Again, ratings and reviews on everything helps us out, and follow us, as Jared said. And yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else? Any other wisdom?
Jason's got a radio show, I hear.
I do have a radio show. I didn't know if you knew that. I have a radio show. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Danger Zone!
The horror show. Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
Danger Zone!
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, baby. Who asked those questions? Yeah? To feel respect for the gegner.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
You're talking to me.
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls in the locker room.
Michael fucking Oscar Fiscal.
Jay Rodius.